My name is Caroline Vodacek. I'll be graduating in May of 2019. I'm majoring in studio art and English, and I'm originally from New Auburn, Wisconsin. Well, I had art classes ever since, elementary school through middle school, high school. I took a lot of drawing and painting classes and a lot of ceramics classes. I was really into pottery, especially like functional pottery. And then when I went into college, I've kind of always done art, not necessarily with the intention to major in studio art, but yeah, I've always been taking art classes in my 5 years of college, yeah. I primarily work in printmaking and sculpture. Specifically within printmaking, I do a lot of the relief processes, which is like having a solid plate and carving into it, mostly linoleum or wood. And then in sculpture, I'd say I mostly work in wood because, well, I grew up surrounded by like woods. And then I think now what really drives me to work with wood is it's kind of like a little discovery with each piece of wood. You can kind of look at the surface of wood and be like, okay, so here's a knot right here, and like the grain is like really close together, or it's really wide, or it's like not pronounced. But then like you really don't know like what's in a piece of wood until you start like carving into it. Like sometimes you'll find like another knot like hidden in there, and I think that's really exciting. It kind of keeps you like rolling with the punches, you don't know what you're gonna like uncover, and you kind of have to like work with that. Lately, the themes I've been working with involve childhood and memories and nature, which is kind of where I also get that drive for wood, because it's a very natural material. But mostly nature and identity and how those two play together. Life and identity really does kind of mirror nature and draw from nature because nature is its own system, like nothing grows in nature by itself. There's like so many different stimuli and factors that play into like how nature grows, and I think that is precisely what art is. Like you can make it by yourself, but even then there's so many different stimuli and so many different factors that play into like how art gets created. So I think that's also why I'm focused so much on nature recently. Yeah, I've just been thinking about how nature has influenced my identity to this day. Yeah. I think right now I'm kind of going in two different areas for printmaking and sculpture. I think they're kind of a little bit different for both. Printmaking, I think less about the design at first, and I think about kind of what I want to do a piece about. Currently, I just kind of have a few pages of my notebook, very general, like words from like tree, to very more specific, like what kind of tree, and then like very specific memories. So I think that's kind of been the first step of my process lately. I think about a specific memory that I want to draw on. And then I can kind of think more about the design and how the lines interact with each other. And for printmaking, kind of what kind of material I want to use. Do I want to use wood? Do I want to use linoleum? What do the different materials offer? And I do think about design lastly, and I kind of play around with that. I like to set out an original idea and then kind of build off of that, because like I try not to go with my first idea because I feel like there's always something better out there. Like you think of something initially and then you're like, okay, I can improve on that. I think I do art because I can't really imagine doing anything but it. Really, any creative work, I've always thought of myself as a creative person, and I guess that means art, visual art in a large part of it. I just really enjoy doing it. I think anytime that I'm not doing art, I'm thinking about what my next project is going to be. I think the role I've kind of been thinking about lately that I myself as an artist want to take on to help people remember their own memories. Because the more I think about it, the more I think about my art, and the more I'm like, okay, what piece do I want to create next? The more memories I recall, for better or worse, Some of them are good memories, some of them are bad memories. But I think it's what's really important is that you can remember them. That's something that I'm very happy that my art has done, because I want it to be a personal expression of myself, but I also want it to kind of recall memories for other people. I want it to kind of reach other people. I like that artists can put memories down on page and then we can kind of collect them all together and put them up in a gallery and create an exhibition, and then visitors come in and they themselves make memories and bring their own memories into the gallery. So it's just like this space of memories, and I think that that's kind of the track I'm on right now, and I really like that. I also do theater, and that's been a very recent thing, but honestly it's been a long time coming, you know? It was like growing up, I've always wanted to do theater, and like I did a little bit of theater in high school, but not really that much, you know. And I've danced, so like I've been on stage, but like I think it's just that like I enjoy being on stage, you know, and I enjoy being able to take on these different personas. And I think like with art, I think it's just the same thing, you know. Like I just enjoy creating visual memories.
Visit pioneer.org/postcards to catch up on missed episodes and to find out more about your favorite segments. Postcards is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota. Additional support provided by Margaret A. Cargill Philanthropies, Mark and Margaret Yackel-Julien on behalf of Shalom Hill Farms, a retreat and conference center in a prairie setting near Windham, Minnesota. On the web at shalomhillfarm.org. Alexandria, Minnesota, a year-round destination with hundreds of lakes, trails, and attractions for memorable vacations and events. More information at explorealex.com. The Lake Region Arts Council's Arts Calendar, an arts and cultural heritage funded digital calendar showcasing upcoming art events and opportunities for artists in West Central Minnesota. On the web at lrac4calendar.org.